going on, everyone? The man, the myth, the legend, Rui Hachimura was phenomenal. What an absolute great pickup by the Lakers and Rob Pelinka to take Kendrick Nunn and some second-round picks and get a sizable 6'8", sturdy, strong, durable, physical level forward that could play both forward spots, even play the 5 in some of these matchups. It's been fantastic. He has shown time and time again his ability to just be a mismatch to many teams in this league. Not many teams have a guy his size with his strength that can just bang down low with him and his mid-range, and he's improved heavily on the defensive end. It's great to see him kind of evolve before our eyes and develop into this player. You got to give credit to Phil Handy. You even saw in the game against the Memphis Grizzlies, in which Phil Handy kept pulling him aside and talking to him and explaining things to him, and he's really becoming and evolving into this great player. And you're seeing, look, Rui is very likely going to be our forward of the future once LeBron James decides to go play with the Sun or retire or whatever ends up happening. Getting a good glimpse of what he can do. And I've talked about this in a previous video. I said he would be a huge X factor, a huge important piece in this matchup against the Memphis Grizzlies. Basically, everything that I said in my breakdown video of Rui Hachimura all came to fruition in this game against the Grizzlies, and that was huge. So, now I don't expect him to get 29 a game. I didn't mean to that level, but even him just getting 15 a game, I think, is massive. His ability to play the small ball center against the Memphis Grizzlies. We saw Darvin Ham make that adjustment, which is something that I relayed. Going up against Xavier Tillman, who's smaller than Rui Hachimura is, right? So, going up against Tillman, going up against Triple J, his ability to get out on the perimeter, it's just a better matchup than a winning Gabriel or a Tristan Thompson who hasn't played all season. Mo Bamba. I know a lot of people want to see Mo. I know a lot of people really like Mo, but he was a project. People forget we got Mo Bamba for essentially nothing because the Orlando Magic were like, hey, if you want to develop him, go ahead. We didn't get him for this season to be this dominant center that's going to take over. And Triple J was already giving Anthony Davis and Rui fits. You think Mo Bamba is going to be able to guard him any different? Especially a guy that is averaging 3 fouls in 9 minutes of possession? No, it's a bad matchup. If we play a team like Denver later on down the line, he would be great in that matchup. Or maybe even the Clippers, you could play him in that matchup against a Plumlee, something like that. Somebody that doesn't have the versatility that a Triple J has. Rui also provides you that offensive punch that you don't get with any of the other guys in the backup role. And I'm not saying you can have Rui guard Jokic, right, or anything like that, but a team like Memphis, who is small, without Steven Adams, without Brandon Clark, Rui is actually probably the best scenario for that 5 spot in that moment. And we saw it. We saw Rui, Jared Vanderbilt, and LeBron James on the court together. And it was working. It was great. We were able to regain the lead. We were able to hold our own down there because, again, Rui just gives you that physicality. The Grizzlies' game plan was to try to draw Anthony Davis out of the paint. So we saw LeBron James guarding Triple J. We saw Rui guarding Triple J. So that way Anthony Davis could stay in the paint and patrol. Rui being that mismatch is massive. And again, if we play the Warriors, guess who probably plays the 5 again? Rui Hachimura. Because he can guard, and he's a great matchup against a Draymond Green, a Kevon Looney, guys like that, because they're not these 7-foot monsters. They're more physical, aggressive. Rui has the size and the strength to match up with them. We made the adjustment to put him on Karl Anthony Towns, and it saved us twice. Right? I mean, we did it twice, and both times it was brilliant because Rui, again, just has that strength and tools and intangibles. Rui he's not afraid of the moment. That's what I talked about in the breakdown. If you go look up Rui Hachimura's playoff stats, dude, the guy is incredible in the playoffs. Everything from every standpoint all shoot up when he plays in the playoffs. Now, again, it's a small sample size. It's not like he's had 30, 40, 50 games in the playoffs in which he's been able to perform that. He's played 5 games before the Lakers game. But in those 5 games here, I'll run through the totals again. So in his very first playoff game ever, he scored 12 points. He also shot 100% from three, and he shot 62% from the field. Second game in the playoffs, he had 11 points. Again, he shot 100% from three, 66.7% from the field. Then his third game, 10 points. He gave 10 points. He also, once again, went 2 of 3, so 66% from 3, and shot 50% from the field. His fourth game, he put up 20 points. He also had 13 rebounds in that game. And in that game, he went again. He went 50% from 3 of 6, and 66.7% from the field. And then his final game, not counting the Lakers game, his final game, he put up 21 points, still had 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and he shot 1 of 3 from 3, but he only took 3 attempts, and he was 61% from the field. Everything just elevates for Rui Hachimura. The guy is averaging like 12 and a half a game, but he scored double digits in every playoff game. Every playoff game, he's giving you at least 10 points or more. That is great. That's the guy that's not afraid of the moment. That's a guy that can really pick it up, and he had his best game with the Lakers. He had one of his best games, period, and was fantastic. And I expect this from him. Again, not 30 a game. I'm not saying he's going to give us that, but I do believe he can be a 15 to 20 point a guy every night. He's had his stretches, right? He had a couple DMPs. He had, some stretches where he was playing like minimal minutes, and Rui even said himself that it helped him. That guys were on the bench, LeBron and AD, and, the coach and everybody, and ever since then, he's been great. Ever since he had the DMP and came back, and had that little stretch, he's been fantastic since he came back. Because they were able to really show him hey, look, this is what we need. This is that. And you got to get him the ball too. And this is something that I've talked about all season long since we got him. If you give him the ball and you give him opportunity, I believe he can deliver. He's going to have bad games. Everyone has bad games. He might have a game in the series where he goes for 8 and he's 3 of 12 from the field. It happens, right? It's guys have good games, guys have bad games. But consistently, he has now a 6-game sample size in which in every one of those games he has scored in double digits. Every one of those games he shot 60% from the field. So that's a good sample size. Somebody does that 6 straight games, that's a good sign. Even if he drops off 15%, which is insane. That's an insane drop. Let's say he drops off 15%. He's still a 51% shooter. That's incredible. So Rui, he's not a lights out 3-point shooter. I don't expect him to knock down 6 threes every game. I don't expect him to go, 6 of 8 or something like that from 3. He was 5 of 6. He was 5 of 6 from 3. Is he capable of that? Absolutely. Is he going to do that game in and game out? No, probably not, But I do think he can knock down 2 or 3 a game. I do believe that you can give him the ball in the post and let him go to work. He's also been more aggressive. He looks more comfortable out there, especially not even just last night. I'm talking about this stretch period since he's came in, right? He's not just settling. Lakers are also putting him in better positions. That helps too, right? His strength is literally strength, ability to get to your spot, ability to elevate, and ability to knock down the mid-range, right? If you can put him in those positions to succeed, he's going to succeed. If you just relegate him to a spot-up 3-point shooter all game, that's not his strengths. He's not. How is he supposed to impact the game when all he's doing is just jacking up threes? I mean, they just kept leaving him wide open in this game, and he made them pay, right? So even this game, I would have liked to see a little more just number calling for him. But he got 14 shots and made 11 of them, and only 6 were threes. So the other 8 were in the mid-range. So he got some opportunity. But I'd like the way we're generating open threes for him. I believe that we can generate open 15-footers for him, and I would like that, or just get him on the block more. Right? We gotta maximize the mismatch, which you saw several times in the game, and we did. they did a good job. You got to credit the Lakers for that in game one. But they need to identify that going forward because it happens a lot, and the Lakers just overlook him, just look by him. There are games constantly where Rui will have the smaller guy on his back and have post position, and they just look away from him, and now he's got to clear out the paint. Give the ball to that man. And he knows how to pass out of the double team. So if they start double teaming him, that's going to give you just great sets because he's going to be able to pass out of the double team, and then you get a swing pass, and now you got an open look. Or maybe you even get another dribble penetration. Like, there's just a lot that can be beneficial from having Rui. And you have him, like, I would, especially when Triple J's on him, every time Triple J is on him and on his back, I would dump the ball down to Rui and have him go to work. Let Rui get into his chest. Triple J loves to foul. Jaren Jackson, he's second in the league in fouls, and he only had 3 last night, but I felt like we didn't attack him the way that we should have, right? And I would like to see when Rui has him on the block, go to work, get into his chest. Rui has the strength to do so. I love what I saw from Rui. I think the sky's the limit for this guy. I really do. I think he is absolutely incredible. He's only going to get better. He's still young. He's still, he just turned 25. So he's still 3 years from his prime. So he has 3 years of just developing and getting better before he actually even hits his prime. And he's a guy, and the thing is, he's not a guy that relies on athleticism. He's a guy that goes to his spots. A lot of people compare him to Kawhi Leonard, and it's not a bad comparison, right? I mean, he's not the defensive guy that Kawhi is, but that strength, that ability to get to your spot, that mid-range, I get the comparison. The lack of athleticism, like Kawhi, no one thinks Kawhi is this athletic monster. Rui's a lot the same way, right? He's not this athletic. So his game is going to translate well, even into his 30s, right? So he's a guy that at 35 could probably still be a very good player. So that bodes well for the Lakers, and he's just going to keep working. Again, got to credit Phil Handy. We never talk about the guys behind the scenes, right? The guys that are putting in the work. It's always the player. Look, the player has to put in the effort. You got to credit Rui for making the effort and putting in the time to be better. But Phil Handy is really kind of shaping Rui into a quality player on both sides of the ball, right? He's been great defensively for the Lakers, and he was not considered a defensive guy by any stretch. And he has been very good for the Lakers this year, especially in this recent stretch, which this last stretch has been 10 games now? 11 games now? So I don't think it's a fluke. I think that he's just getting better. And this Lakers team as a whole should just get better, which is crazy to think about. With that performance. And the beauty is it showed that on any given night, multiple guys can beat you, and we don't need Anthony Davis and LeBron James to go off for 80. We know that they can. We know that they're capable of doing it. But if they don't have to, why? If Rui can go off for 25 and Reeves go off for 20 and D'Lo go off for 20 every single night, let him. If Anthony Davis and LeBron just got to go get you 20 each, cool. That's fine. Why? Why try to kill your 2 stars when you have 3 guys that are playing to that level? Let them play. And I'm telling you, Rui is going to be massive in this playoffs because there's not a lot of teams that have a defensive answer for him. And with Anthony Davis and LeBron James on the court, teams have to worry about them more than they have to worry about Rui. So they can't risk doubling Rui because you can't double Rui, double AD, and double LeBron. So one of them is going to kill you. And more times than not, they're going to say, hey, let's let Rui, which is what the Grizzlies did. Let's let Rui beat us. And guess what? Rui beat you. So I expect him to be able to do that. He didn't do anything that was not out of the norm. It wasn't like he just was hitting these circus shots and just having him. No, they were leaving him wide open and he was making him pay. He was getting to his spots, bodying up, making him pay. Knocking down the mid-range, having those followaways. Everything that we've seen him do, that's his game. He was playing his game, and he delivered. And I do expect him to do that once again. But Anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What did you think of Rui? Were you excited to see him just kind of go off? Do you expect him to continue? Again, not saying he's going to go for 30 a night, but I mean, if he can, why not? If he's got it going, give it to him. Feed the hot hand, right? Like if he can go get 30 in game 2, go do it. But I think realistically, you're probably looking at about 15 a game. If he can get us, 13 to 15 a game, I'm cool with that. That's all I really need. That's all I really want. Because he's gonna have to play some solid defense. He's gonna have his hands full with guys like Triple J, Tillman, and then in the next matchup, if we play against the Warriors, even the Grizzlies, or not the Grizzlies, the Kings, even the Kings, not so much the 5 spot, but he could definitely play the 4. And I don't know. I mean Rui, because their backup is Alex Lynn. I actually think Rui can handle Alex Lynn. Alex Lynn isn't some great offensive player. It's just the height difference. Where this Grizzlies thing, Grizzlies don't really have the height difference on Rui. Triple J is 2 inches taller, 3 inches taller than Rui, but he's not big and burly like Rui is. But anyway, love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Let me know.